Hi, and welcome to another lesson. In this lesson, I will ask you a lot of questions to help you practice speaking English. As always, please answer every question with a full sentence. If you need more time to answer, or if you want to correct your mistakes, just pause the video. Okay, let's get started. Now, I'm going to ask questions about Jane and Anne. Are Jane and Anne overweight? No, Jane and Anne aren't overweight. Are they slim? Yes, they're slim. Are they slim or overweight? They're slim. Two years ago, were they slim? No, they weren't slim 2 years ago. 2 years ago, were they slim or overweight? 2 years ago, they were overweight. Are they still overweight now? No, they aren't. Now, they're no longer overweight. Did they used to be overweight? Yes, that's correct. They used to be overweight. When were they overweight? They were overweight 2 years ago. 2 years ago, were Jane and Anne both overweight? Yes, that's correct. 2 years ago, Jane and Anne were both overweight. Were they equally overweight? No, they weren't equally overweight. One of them was more overweight than the other. Was Anne more overweight than Jane? No, Anne wasn't more overweight than Jane. Who was more overweight than the other? Jane was more overweight than Anne. Was Jane a little overweight or very overweight? Well, Jane was very overweight. What about Anne? Was Anne a little overweight or very overweight? Anne was a little overweight. Tell me again, who was more overweight than the other? Jane was more overweight than Anne. Is Jane still overweight? No, Jane is no longer overweight. Is Anne still overweight? No, Anne is no longer overweight. Did Jane and Anne used to be overweight? Yes, Jane and Anne used to be overweight. When were they overweight? They were overweight 2 years ago. How overweight were they? Well, Jane was very overweight, and Anne was a little overweight. Now, I'm going to ask questions about Kate and her brother Tom. When Kate and Tom were little, did they think Superman was real? No, they didn't think Superman was real when they were little. Who did they think was real when they were little? When they were little, they thought Santa Claus was real. Did they think zombies were real? No, they didn't think zombies were real. Who did they think was real? They thought Santa Claus was real. When Tom was a boy, did he have a friend named Nick? Yes, that's correct. When Tom was a boy, he had a friend named Nick. What did Nick tell him one day? One day, Nick told him that Santa Claus wasn't real. Did Nick tell him that Superman wasn't real? No, Nick didn't tell him that Superman wasn't real. Did Nick tell him that zombies weren't real? No, Nick didn't tell him that zombies weren't real. What did Nick tell him? Nick told him that Santa Claus wasn't real. When Tom realized that Santa wasn't real, did he feel angry? No, that's not how he felt. When Tom realized that Santa wasn't real, he didn't feel angry. Did he feel embarrassed? No, he didn't feel embarrassed. How did he feel? He felt surprised and sad at the same time. Who was surprised and sad at the same time? It was Tom. Tom was surprised and sad at the same time. When Tom got home that day, what did he do? When Tom got home that day, he told Kate that Santa didn't actually exist. Did he tell Kate that their parents were sick? No, he didn't tell Kate that their parents were sick. Did he tell Kate that ghosts didn't actually exist? No, he didn't tell Kate that ghosts didn't actually exist. What did he tell Kate? He told Kate that Santa didn't actually exist. When Kate realized that Santa didn't exist, did she laugh? No, Kate didn't laugh when she realized that Santa didn't exist. What happened when she realized that Santa didn't exist? When she realized that Santa didn't exist, she cried for almost an hour. Did she cry for just a few minutes? No, she didn't cry for just a few minutes. How long did she cry? She cried for almost an hour. Was it Tom who cried for almost an hour? No, it wasn't Tom who cried for almost an hour. Who cried for almost an hour? It was Kate. Kate cried for almost an hour. Now, I'm going to ask questions about two sisters named Grace and Emma. Do Grace and Emma have pets? Yes, Grace and Emma have pets. Are their pets dogs? No, their pets aren't dogs. Are their pets cats? No, their pets aren't cats. What kind of animal are their pets? Their pets are spiders. How many spiders do they have? They have 3 spiders. Do they think their spiders are scary? No, they don't think their spiders are scary. What do they think about their spiders? Well, they think their spiders are cute. When Grace and Emma were young, were they afraid of birds? No, they weren't afraid of birds when they were young. Were they afraid of dogs? No, they weren't afraid of dogs. What were they afraid of? They were afraid of spiders. When they were young, did they think spiders were cute? No, they didn't think spiders were cute when they were young. Did they think spiders were interesting? No, they didn't think spiders were interesting. What did they think about spiders? They thought spiders were really scary. Who thought spiders were scary? Grace and Emma thought spiders were scary. Did Grace and Emma watch a cartoon one day? Yes, they did. Grace and Emma watched a cartoon one day. Was the cartoon about dogs? No, the cartoon wasn't about dogs. Was the cartoon about cats? No, the cartoon wasn't about cats either. What was the cartoon about? The cartoon was about spiders. Were there spiders in the cartoon? Yes, there were spiders in the cartoon. While watching the cartoon, did they feel bored? No, they didn't feel bored while watching the cartoon. Was the cartoon boring? No, the cartoon wasn't boring. Was the cartoon funny? Yes, the cartoon was funny. Were the spiders in the cartoon scary? No, the spiders in the cartoon weren't scary. Were the spiders in the cartoon cute? Yes, the spiders in the cartoon were cute. Before they watched the cartoon, were they afraid of spiders? Yes, that's correct. Before they watched the cartoon, they were afraid of spiders. What happened after they watched the cartoon? After they watched the cartoon, their fear of spiders was completely gone. After they watched the cartoon, were they still afraid of spiders? No, they weren't. After they watched the cartoon, they were no longer afraid of spiders. Was their fear of spiders completely gone? Yes, that's correct. Their fear of spiders was completely gone. All right, that was the last question. As always, please repeat this lesson until you can easily answer every question. Thank you for using this lesson to improve your English. I'll see you next time.